Chapter 8. Now Elisha had spoken unto the woman whose son he had restored to life, saying, Arise, and go you and your household, and sojourn wheresoever you can sojourn. For the Lord hath called for a famine, and it shall also come upon the land for 7 years. And the woman arose, and did according to the word of the man of God. And she went with her household, and sojourned in the land of the Philistines for 7 years. And it came to pass at the 7 years' end, that the woman returned out of the land of the Philistines, and she went forth to cry unto the king for her house and for her land. Now the king was talking with Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, saying, Tell me, I pray you, all the great things that Elisha has done. And it came to pass, as he was telling the king how he had restored to life him that was dead, that, behold, the woman whose son he had restored to life cried to the king for her house and for her land. And Gehazi said, My lord, O king, this is the woman, and this is her son, whom Elisha restored to life. And when the king asked the woman, she told him. So the king appointed unto her a certain officer, saying, Restore all that was hers, and all the fruits of the field, since the day that she left the land, even until now. And Elisha came to Damascus, and Benhadad the king of Aram was sick. And it was told him, saying, The man of God is come here. And the king said to Hazael, Take a present in your hand, and go meet the man of God, and inquire of the Lord by him, saying, Shall I recover of this sickness? So Hazael went to meet him, and took a present with him, even of every good thing of Damascus, 40 camels' burden, and came and stood before him, and said, Your son Benhadad, king of Aram, hath sent me to see, saying, Shall I recover of this sickness? And Elisha said to him, Go say unto him, You shall surely recover. However, the Lord has shown me that he shall surely die. And he settled in his conscience steadfastly upon him, until he was ashamed, and the man of God wept. And Hazael said, Why weepeth my lord? And he answered, Because I know the evil that you will do unto the children of Israel. Their strongholds will you set on fire, and their young men will you slay with the sword, and will dash in pieces their little ones, and rip up their women with child. And Hazael said, But why is your servant, who is but a dog, that he should do this great thing? And Elisha answered, The Lord hath shown me that you shall be king, Aram. Then he departed from Elisha, and came to his master, who said to him, What said Elisha to you? And he answered, He told me that you would surely recover. And it came to pass on the morrow, that he took the coverlet, and dipped it in water, and spread it on his face, so that he died. And Hazael reigned in his stead. And in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahav, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat, being the king of Judah, Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahav, for he had the daughter of Ahav to wife, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. However, the Lord would not destroy Judah, for David his servant's sake, as he promised him to give unto him a lamp, and to his children always. In his days Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah, and made a king over themselves. Then Joram passed over to Zair, and all his chariots with him. And he rose up by night, and smote the Edomites that compassed him about, and the captains of the chariots, and the people fled to their tents. Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Edom unto this day. Then did Libnah revolt at the same time. And the rest of the acts of Joram, and all that he did, and are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Joram slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Ahaziah his son reigned in his stead. And in the 12th year of Joram the son of Ahav king of Israel, did Ahaziah the son of Jehoram king of Judah begin to reign. 22 years old was Ahaziah when he began to reign. And he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Athaliah, this daughter of Omri, king of Israel. And he walked in the way of the house of Ahab, and did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, as did the house of Ahab, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab. And he went with Joram, the son of Ahab, to war against Hazael, king of Edom, at Ramoth Gilead. And the Arameans wounded Joram. And the king Joram returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Arameans had given him at Ramah, when he fought against Hazael, king of Edom. And Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Joram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, because he was sick. All right, let's go back up to verse 1. Now, yesterday we talked about this meal that would be weighed out and this punishment that God was going to deliver. That God has made a separation, is what he's done, and he's divided that which should be punished from that which should be blessed. And he made an example now yesterday, and he showed that there's those things that he has dedicated for a purpose, and for this purpose do they have to be used. And if we partake of those things which God has set aside for one single purpose, then we do error, falling in the way of Achan the troubler. Now today, chapter 8 is the new beginning, and 8 means the new beginning. We are talking about restoration here today, and that's what the first story is about, to restore. Verse 1. Now Elisha had spoken unto the woman whose son he had restored to life, saying, Arise, and go you and your household, and sojourn wheresoever you can sojourn, for the Lord hath called for a famine, and it shall also come upon the land for 7 years. Now we remember this woman that Elisha had spoken to, and she had this child. She is the one that made him a place, and he did turn in there, and it was the upper chamber, and she's the one that laid the child on his bed and went and got him, and he come and brought the child back to life. This is the woman we're talking about, and he's told her now there's going to be a famine in the land for 7 years, and 7 is perfection, and years is this understanding of these circles that go around. And the woman arose and did according to the word of the man of God, and she went with her household and sojourned in the land of Philistines for 7 years. So now we see, now the woman, she does just what the man of God says. As she goes and she sojourns or lives or stays and works in this land of the Philistines, these drifters, who have drifted now from the law of God and from the word of God, and she stays there for 7 years. Once again, this is the perfection and the understanding now of these circles. And it came to pass, after the 7 years end, that the woman returned out of the land of the Philistines, and she went forth to cry unto the king for her house and for her land. So now, after this period of time, after this time of the perfection of the understanding, and these wheels have went around, this woman returns. Now she comes back from this land of the Philistines, these that have drifted from God. This woman is from man. Woman means from man, and she represents that which is from man, even how they have strayed from the word of God. She's gone forth now to cry to the king, or ask the king if she can get her land back, because she had left because of the great famine that was in the land. Verse 4. Now the king was talking with Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, saying, Tell me, I pray you, all the great things which Elisha has done. So it just so happens now that the king, he's sitting there and he's talking with Gehazi. Gehazi was the servant of Elisha, which was made the leper instead of Naaman. And Gehazi means this vision of the lowland, or this vision of this crack and this crevice that they fall into and they can't get out of. And the king's telling him, says, now tell me all these great things. Tell me some of these stories about Elisha and what he's done, my mighty one's salvation. 5, and it came to pass, as he was telling the king, how he had restored to life that which was dead, that behold, the woman whose son he had restored to life cried to the king for her house and for her land. And Gehazi said, my lord, O king, this is the woman, and this is her son, from whom Elisha restored to life. So now it just so happens, 5, that as he was sitting there telling the king all these great stories, that behold, here is this woman. Here is this son that he had restored to life. And Gehazi tells the king, here she is, and here's her son, the ones that Elisha has restored to life. 6, and when the king asked the woman, she told him. So the king appointed unto her a certain officer, saying, restore all that was hers, and all the fruits of the field, since the day that she left the land, even until now. So now, this woman who had the son that Elisha said she would, and he had brought the child back to life. Now she has come to the king, and this just so happens that there is Gehazi telling the story to the king. And when the king hears it, he appoints this officer, and this would be the one who was set in charge to carry out this, to officiate this deed. And he tells this officer to restore all that belonged to this woman, even all the fruits of the field. And now this woman, she does represent this, which was from man, and even this teaching that God had gave her this understanding even of the law which led to salvation. We see now the king has said to restore, and this is restore is restoration, or to redeem one back to their former standing. And that is the overall purpose now of God's word, is to redeem his servant, to redeem now the one he had appointed to carry out this mission, to get this job done, to make sure that understanding does go forth into the world, that all might come to understanding of the law of God, and not to understand that he is God, and that he does walk with men and talk with men, and he has given man the fiery law that he could keep for his own good. Verse 7, and Elisha came to Damascus, and Benhadad the king of Aram was sick. And so it was told him, saying, the man of God is come here. So, now verse 7, we're going to change subjects. And Elisha has come to Damascus. Damascus is this place where the sackcloth weaver's working. He's working there silently. And Benhadad, he is the king of Aram. And Benhadad means the son of the mighty who moves softly. And Aram are those enlightened ones. And somebody tells Benhadad that the man of God's here, Elisha, the mighty one's salvation, has come here, because Benhadad is sick. 8, and the king said unto Hazael, take a present in your hand, and go meet the man of God, and inquire of the Lord by him, saying, shall I recover of this sickness? So now Benhadad, he's laying there on his deathbed, and he sends his right-hand man, Hazael, to go see what the man of God has got to say. He's telling him now, take a present and go see what he's got to say if I'm going to recover of this sickness. And Hazael means one who sees or perceives the mighty one who perceives or understands the mighty one. 9, so Hazael went to meet him, and took a present with him, even every good thing of Damascus, 40 camels burdened. And they came and stood before him, and said, Your son Benhadad, king of Edom, hath sent me to you, saying, Shall I recover of this sickness? So now Hazael, he takes a present. He takes every good thing from Damascus, even this place where the sackcloth weaver's working. 40 camels burdened. He loads 40 camels, and 40 means probation. So now, and these camels are burdened with this probation. And he comes and he stands there before Elisha, and he says, Your son, Benhadad, the king of Edom, has sent me. And he wants to know if he's going to recover of this sickness. 10. And Elisha said unto him, Go say unto him, You shall surely recover, however the Lord hath shown me that he shall surely die. So Hazael asks Elisha, now, is Ben-Hadad going to recover from his sickness? And Elisha says, yes, he's going to be all right. But now the Lord has shown me that he's going to die. 11, and he settled his countenance steadfastly upon him, until he was ashamed. And the man of God wept. So Elisha tries to compose himself now, but he's having trouble. And finally, until he can't compose himself any longer, and he starts crying. 12. And Hazael said, Why weepeth my Lord? And he answered, Because I know the evil that you will do unto the children of Israel. Their strongholds will you set on fire, and their young men will you slay with the sword, and will you dash in pieces their little ones, and rip up their women with child. 12 now. Here's understanding. So Elisha is telling Hazael, this one who sees, this one who perceives, this one who understands God, the mighty one. God has shown me what you're going to do now to the children of Israel. And we'll remember, God had commanded Elijah to anoint Hazael king over Edom, and we'll see now it's coming past, because he had sent Elijah or Eliah down to anoint Elisha in his stead, and it's Elisha who's going to anoint Hazael now as this king of Edom. These enlightened ones, these ones who have exalted themselves in understanding, or have been exalted. 13, and Hazael said, But what is your servant, who is but a dog, that he should do this great thing? And Elisha answered, The Lord has shown me that you shall be king over Edom. So now Elisha is telling Hazael, you're going to be the king over Edom. God showed it to me. And Hazael can't believe what he's hearing. He says, What am I, but a dog, that I should do this kind of thing? Rip up these women with child, and dash the pieces, these little ones? And rip up these women with child. What this means is these women who have been impregnated now with this false understanding, with these teachings, with this understanding, see, now to rip them up is to slay them and their child within them. And dash these pieces, these little ones, dash into pieces now, and we'll find this is to dash and break these little ones, these children now that have come from these women who had this understanding, even these minor teachings from it. And to dash into pieces means they're going to be dashed against the rocks, and these rocks are the law of God. And we're going to see now, he's going to slay the young men with sword. These young, they don't have no understanding. They don't have no understanding. They're young and have not been taught of this properly. Therefore they're slayed with the sword, even the words of understanding. And Israel's strongholds, these places they built to protect themselves against the enemy, The Israel being those that have been scattered now. They will set on fire, and this fire is from the word of God, from the breath of God. 13, and Hazael said, but what is your servant? 14, then he departed from Elisha, and come to his master, who said to him, what said Elisha to you? And he answered, he told me that you would surely recover. So now, Hazael has left Elisha. He's gone back to Ben-Hadad, and he's told him now, after Ben-Hadad says, what did he say? What did Elisha, my mighty one's salvation, say to you? And he tells him, he told me that you would recover. 15, and it came to pass on the morrow that he took the coverlet and dipped it in water and spread it on his face so that he died, and Hazael reigned in his stead. So we're going to see Hazael kills Ben-Hadad. The very next day, after he told him you're going to be all right, he takes the coverlet, that which covers, this that Ben-Hadad covered himself with there on his deathbed. He dips it in water, and this water is always going to be a representation of this truth or this of an understanding. And he spreads it over his face, his face, that which was before him, so that he dies. And Hazael takes over the throne of Aram, just like God said would happen. This mighty one who sees, this one who perceives God, this one who perceives the mighty one, has just taken over the enlightened ones. 16. And in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahav, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat, being the king of Judah, Jehoram the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign. So, now grace is in this understanding, grace is in this circle of Joram, of Yah is exalted. He's the son of Ahav, my father's brother, and he is the king of Israel. Jehoshaphat, now Jehoshaphat is the king of Judah. Jehoshaphat means God is judged. Judged, Shaphat is punishment actually through the judgment. So God is punished even in this judgment. And we're going to see now his son, Jehoram, God is exalted, God shall be exalted, as the son of Jehoshaphat. He is going to reign. He is going to begin his reign now. And we got Joram, which is God exalted. We got Jehoram, God is exalted. It's the same name actually, Joram and Jehoram. Joram is a shortened version of Jehoram. They mean the same exact thing. But what they've done is change the spelling here so you can keep up with it a little bit easier. But we're going to find out they had a little trouble keeping up with it themselves. Verse 17. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem. So now Jehoram, he's 32 years old. 30 is this dedicated, and 2 now witness this understanding of these circles. And he does begin his reign, and he's going to reign for 8 years. And this is a new beginning. 8 is the new beginning in this understanding or this circle in Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is that place of the peaceful teaching. So now we're going to have a restart on the other side. We've been talking about Israel now, and we're going to have a little bit about Judah. And this is the new beginning there. This is this zigzag. It goes back and forth, zigzagging, back and forth. Back and forth we go. Back and forth. And that's where we're at. And he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahav, for he had the daughter of Ahav to wife, and he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. So now we're going to find out, 18 is bondage. And that's where everybody's at, in bondage. Bondage. And we're going to find out now that Jehoram, he's going to sin. He's going to walk in the ways of Israel. We know what Israel's doing. They've got this false altar set up. They're going in the ways of Jeroboam. Remember Jeroboam and all the sins that he caused Israel to sin? This was the great downfall This is what we're going to be talking about. And Ahav, my father's brother, he set up the images of Baal and this pillar of Baal, but that's been taken down. But still, they carry on in the worship of this Lord image they made for themselves. We're going to see now. He has taken the daughter of Ahav to wife. This daughter is that one who would be born now, even this teaching born from this understanding. 19. However, the Lord would not destroy Judah for David his servant's sake, as he promised him to give unto him a lamp to his children alway. And we'll remember God did tell David that he would give him a lamp now there in Jerusalem forever. So God has not destroying Judah for this reason only, because their king has gone to sin. 20. In his days Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah and made a king over themselves. So now Edom means red, and they're the ones who show this blood in the flesh. They show the blood in the flesh, and blood is that which is the life thereof. But we're going to find out, they are going to make this king over themselves, and this is in the symbolism now that they have went out from under the praisings of God, and they have set out now this king over themselves. 21. Then Joram passed over Zair and all his chariots with him, and he rose up by night and smote the Edomites that surrounded him about, and the captains of the chariots, and the people fled to their tents. So Jehoram, God is exalted, he takes his armies, all his chariots, and he crosses over Zair. And Zair means this little or small, not much, an amount that's very little, an insignificant amount. And he takes all his armies, and he passes over, and he smites these Edomites, these ones who show the blood in the flesh, even the blood covenant that they'll make for themselves. And we see now they have surrounded him, but Joram smites them. He overcomes them, and the captains of the chariots. And all these people flee back to their tents. These captains of the chariots, these are the ones who stand there now, and they do control the reins. They are the captains of it. But we're going to see now, Joram has conquered them. 22. Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah unto this day. Then did Libnah revolt at the same time. And Libnah is these oozings of white, these oozings of white, this substance, and we've talked about this before. When it's broke, it oozes out that substance which is necessary to heal, and that's this oozing we're talking about. It's trying to heal itself. 23. And the rest of the acts of Joram, all that he did, are they not written in the books of the chronicles of the kings of Judah? Well, this Joram here should be Jehoram, because Jehoram was the son of Jehoshaphat, and he was the king of Judah. Joram was the son of Ahav, and he was the king of Israel. So the acts of Jehoram, the king of Judah, would be written in the chronicles of the kings of Judah. It gets pretty confusing, Joram, Jehoram, these names that are so similar, because once God is trying to show you this great parallel of the stories that are written in this book. He's used this for an example. It's no coincidence that these words have survived for the millenniums of time. See, God has done this. God has done this. So you can see at the appropriate time that it's appointed. And Joram slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Ahaziah the son reigned in his stead. And we're going to see it was Jehoram who slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David, not Joram, Jehoram, for he was the son of Jehoshaphat. And Ahaziah is his son, and he does reign in his stead. And we remember Ahaziah. Ahav had a king named Ahaziah who fell through the lattice. See, now Jehoram, king of Judah, has got a son named Ahaziah. And Ahaziah are those that God possesses, that God took over to use for an example. See, once again, this great parallel. 25, and in the 12th year of Joram, the son of Ahav, king of Israel, did Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, begin to reign. So here we have the proof positive. Now Jehoram has a son named Ahaziah, and Joram is the son of Ahav. We see here that in the 12th year, now this is the year of understanding. This is this year where this great circle now is going to come up. God shall be exalted. 26, 2 and 20 years old was Ahaziah when he began to reign. And he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, the king of Israel. And we remember Omri. Omri was this student of God. He was the pupil of God. He's the one who's God's trying to teach all this to, who's not listening, who's not doing now what he's told. He's not getting the lesson. And he's got a daughter, and she's named Athaliah. And Athaliah means those that are afflicted or pressed by God. Those are those that are going to go into the wine press. They've got to be pressed down because they don't listen to the law of God. And now we're going to see she's the mother of Ahaziah. She's the one who's given birth to this son, Ahaziah, those that are possessed by God. He is 2 and 20 years old now. Witness this redemption and this understanding of this circle, because we're going to get some understanding now out of this reign of Ahaziah, even though he only reigns for 1 year. And this is the beginning of this understanding about these of Jerusalem, this place of the teachings of peace. 27, and he walked in the way of the house of Ahav, and did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, as did the house of Ahav, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahav. Now, what it's saying now, Ahaziah, he was the son of Jehoshaphat, and he has taken to wife now the daughter of Ahav, the king of Israel, my father's brother. And he becomes the son-in-law now of Ahav. And he does great evil now in the sight of God, because we're going to see that he does go and start worshiping Baal, this Lord image that they've made for themselves. And he went with Joram, 28, the son of Ahav, to war against Hazael, king of Edom, at Ramoth Gilead, and the Edomians wounded Joram. So we're going to see now him and Ahaziah, Joram and Ahaziah get into. They're going to join forces now because they're relative through marriage. They start a fight there with Hazael, this one who sees and perceives and understands God, the king of the Arameans, these enlightened ones, at Ramoth Gilead. Ramoth is this high place, even this high place they've made for themselves. Gilead is this place where these witness of stones, where these stones do witness. 29, and King Joram was wounded there. He got wounded by the Arameans there. 29, and King Joram returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Arameans had given him at Ramah, when he fought against Hazael, king of Edom. And Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Joram, the son of Ahav, in Jezreel, because he was sick. So now Joram, God has been exalted. God is exalted. Has been wounded now by these Arameans. He's been hurt. And he's going back to Jezreel. This is the place where God sows his seeds to try to be healed of his wounds, which the Arameans have given him, the Israelite ones have given him. And he received these wounds at Ramah. Ramah is this high place. Ramah is that very high place, even that place where they built that altar. Now, and we're going to see now that Ahaziah, he is the son of Jehoram, those that God possessed. He's the son of the Yah is exalted. And he's gone down to see the other Jehoram. He's the son of Ahab in Jezreel because he's sick. Now, this story's kind of confusing today, and I understand that, and I don't know if we got a whole lot out of it. But I think over the course of it now, we will, because what we're seeing here is that both houses of Israel have gone deeply into sin, and that Libnah has revolted, and Edom has revolted, and they're losing a grip now. God is going to show you, because of their sins, he's going to punish them. And that's what we just come out of a period of restoration, and we have to go through this punishment again now to be restored. And we're going to see this is in reference to that which shall be broken, so that we can have this healing to come forth, even this understanding. God has to somehow break it so that we can see and have understanding. All right, let's try to move on. Let's go to chapter 9.